Good morning and happy Wednesday, everybody. My name is Justin Nimergood. I am your host of the Real Estate Rockstars podcast. Today, I am so thrilled to have a wonderful guest on, Mr. Paul Shin. Just a little bit about Paul before we get into our conversation here. Paul is the CEO and co-founder of TruStay, a modern performance-based short-term rental management company focused on transparency, alignment, and exceptional owner experience. A serial entrepreneur and multiple successful exits, Paul blends data-driven strategy with deep operational care. Outside of business, he's a three-time world record breaker who believes business should be fun. Don't we all, right? He loves connecting with new people and building friendships along the way. It's without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Paul Shin to the show. Welcome, Paul.
Hey man, thanks so much for having me, Justin. It's great to
And
be
and I
here.
love that you gave the rock star symbol for our listeners out there, right? That's what we're all about. We're all rock stars. We're all inner rock stars. So,
I
Paul, I
love
know
it.
I just shared a little bit about you, but just for our listeners, in your own words, who is Paul Shin?
That's a great question, man. I wonder that a lot, if I'm being honest. Honestly, I'm just some guy. Uh, I believe in doing good in the world, right? I mean, I think like a lot of us, I chased career for a long time. Kind of went on my own soul-seeking journey, took a bunch of pit stops along the way. Right now, I think, my big passion is trying to figure out how do we help, uh, honestly, middle-class Americans, like average people.
Yeah.
Um, and how do we help build that back up and how do we build wealth? And I think property is just a huge vehicle for that, right? And so that's been a big part of my journey right now. Again, also working with a lot of the actual owners of these properties, finding out that, I think when most people think real estate investors, they just imagine these guys who, look like the monopoly man who have more money than they know what to do with. But, a lot of the guys that we work with, we find out they're one mortgage payment away from losing that investment property. And if it just doesn't work out or doesn't perform correctly, they're in trouble. And so, anyways, I mean, again, I'm
Is that right?
uh,
That's interesting. I didn't realize it was that, steep of a decline in things there.
I think a lot of us saw the Airbnb bubble like start in the during COVID, and everyone just thought, hey man, money's cheap, rates are great. If I buy any house and throw it on Airbnb, I'll be a millionaire. And don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of money to be made. And again, I think real estate should absolutely be a part of everyone's investment portfolio, but it's not what it was, again, 4, 5, 6 years ago. And it's crazy to think that COVID was 5 years ago, right? But and so again, it's a lot of that has become, how do we make sure that we are really working with the owners to make sure that these investments are working out for them?
Hmm.
How do we help take care of these people? And again, I'm a big believer that if we help re-strengthen that middle class, it solves a lot of the problems, just across the board.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's funny, you mentioned something that a lot of the guests that we have on here mentioned. So, I mean, it's clearly a market impact, which is, we've had certain milestones in our history of time that have really done some damage economically, especially in the US, right? We could reference 9/11. We could reference the former mortgage, bubble burst, the 1980s when you had Black Monday, right? And I think now, the one that's the most recent reference is COVID, actually, right? It's amazing to me that something like that can have such a market impact on an industry, but it did. What the funny thing is it caused obviously prices and everything to skyrocket, which I think, how do you even make sense of that when you're all masked up and I'm sure you remember those days, right? You're avoiding people, you're all masked up, but people are still doing real estate deals, you
Oh,
know?
for sure, right? And again, it is crazy. I mean, one, you mentioned all those things, and you start wondering how many once in a lifetime experiences can one person live through before they're not once in a lifetime anymore, right? Um, but again, you're not wrong, right? We still haven't seen house prices come down. Interest rates obviously are significantly higher. We're not seeing those come back down. And again, that's not to say that there's not money to be made in real estate. I think
Mhm.
real estate generally will almost always be a safe bet. But again, it's no longer just like, I don't know, man, just buy a house, you know.
And it'll
But
appreciate guaranteed. And
right, and it just, "Cool, dude, I'm gonna retire now." Like, there's a lot more thought that has to go into it, right? Again, like, short terms are where we specialize, and that's because I'm a big believer that you should be good at one thing instead of, okay at a lot of things.
oh yeah,
And so, that's kind of my whole firm. Like, we are exclusively focused on short term. But I mean, that's exactly it. Is again, 5, 6 years ago, you could probably do a little bit of everything and be fine, just because the market was a lot easier, right? Like, you could get a 2% mortgage, and the government was just handing out checks to everyone. Like, sure, money's free, get a house, why not?
yeah.
That, and again, everyone's locked inside, so they want to travel. People are booking anywhere. It's just different now.
Yeah, it really is, and obviously the short term space is a different animal in itself, and I think it's interesting to see some of the policies that have come around, especially through HOAs, as a result of that surge that we saw. I mean, I won't say most of, at least 50% of the deals I do that involve an HOA, uh, the HOA is adamantly against short term, right? I'm sure you guys see that. So, what is what is your answer to that? Is it just not focus on any of that? Are you trying to do some things to disrupt that market still? I would love to understand more, and I'm sure our listeners
Yeah.
would too.
No, I mean, great question, man. And there's a couple things. I mean, one, you're right. Like, we, as a firm, we've lost slash walked away from, I mean, honestly, millions of dollars worth of property deals because of HOAs, right? I mean,
Mm,
literally multi-million dollar homes. We're getting down to the final numbers. We're figuring it all out. As just a part of our standard process, if they have an HOA, review their CC&Rs. We actually like to proactively reach out to the HOA, because then they
mm.
don't feel like we're trying to sneak anything past them, right?
Which they always do, right? They always think someone's out to get them. It's funny.
Uh-huh. I know. And again, I get it, right? HOAs, when you think HOAs, they're probably not the most popular people in the world. But uh anyways, and we've lost slash had to walk away from quite a few deals. The flip side of it is, where we found it work is if it's not black and white, right? If it's not like a strict hard rule, there's a little bit of variance, a little bit of gray. Buddying up with the HOA goes a long way for us. I mean, we get quite a
Mm,
few of our deals because we are now the preferred short-term rental management company of certain HOAs, right? I mean,
yeah.
they're obviously, like, people are allowed to get other outside companies, but we're kind of the default in some of these HOA organizations. But that was largely because we said, "Hey, look, we have local boots on the ground in the area, right? If there's a
Mm,
problem, we can get someone there within 15 minutes." Right? We use smart appliances. We know how to, the door locks, the cameras, the noise sensors, etc. We know if people are throwing a party in one of these homes. Like, we can help maintain that for us, right? Like, we want to work with you to make sure that, even if the homeowner's not living there, he's still a homeowner inside your organization, and he's getting, what he wants out of the neighborhood without disrupting the lives of the other homeowners inside this association too. And again, some HOAs will still just be, HOAs, and that's okay. But we found a lot of them that say, "Hey, we really appreciate the fact that you're willing to reach out and be forward with that, and, like, let's find a way to work together."
yeah, I mean, that's a great strategy, I have to say. Like, as someone that started my career many moons ago in strategic partner sales, I will tell you, aligning with organizations who are maybe adamantly opposed to you, but finding a way to make them feel like they're part of the process. That's basically what you guys have done, right? Which
Oh, and
is remarkable.
thank you, man. And I think you hit the nail on the head, right? I mean, again, strategic partnerships has been a big part of my life too. Again, in a former world, I ran, this. I don't know if it's even a nonprofit's the right word, but we broke a world record every year, and we did it for 3 years, and we donated all the money to charity.
Oh
Um,
wow.
eh, it was a super cool experience. It's kind of part of my whole soul seeking journey thing, and but it was just that, right? Like, we were hosting these events on, NBA courts, and, major, like, we did a giant, like, 700-person water gun fight at the University of Utah football field, which they were like, "There's no way you can get onto that field. It's sacred turf." But by buddying up with the right people, right, and then showing them what we do and helping them understand that we're not here to Like, I'm not trying to come in and wreck your field. I'm just trying
Hmm.
to create a memorable experience, and here's the cause behind it. Once people start to understand what we were trying to do and they realize that we weren't enemies, we just saw a lot of doors open up everywhere, right? And we tried to take that same mentality here in the short term space. We want the neighbors to know that we are here, that yes, their neighbor's home will become a short term rental, but that doesn't mean that the neighborhood's going to crap, right? Like that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that we don't care about the home.
No, absolutely. And I think that's just it, right? Is the neighborhood, right? They just want to know that there's good people around them. And then when there's uncertainty, like what you're referring to, oh, it's a short term, we don't know who's coming through today. Like it makes people freak out. So if you can take some of that, that pain away, which you guys clearly are, then it helps solve this challenge because I'll be honest, the market needs short term. It really does, right? People love to travel. They love to go places. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've Airbnb'd at
Sure.
different places all over the world, by the way, all over the globe. So I don't see that changing or the need for that. What has to change is maybe the approach, which you guys are clearly not only being disruptors of, but really pioneers of, it sounds like.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I mean, honestly, this whole thing started, right? I have two co-founders, and the three of us, each of us have our own investment properties. And I think it's a story that you hear over and over again, right? Like we all, honestly, we were hanging out once, and we were just talking about how much we hated all of our own the property management companies that we had hired, right? Man, they're just wasting my money. I don't know what's going on. They don't care about the house. I'm getting a ton of complaints. Guests are unhappy. Our reviews are bad. I'm locked into these long contracts. I don't know what these fees are. Like, what's going on? And that just started this snowball idea of like, well, what would like the perfect management company look like for you, right? And then again, I think generally speaking, if you have an investment property, you know other people that also have investment properties, and so the three of us talked to probably 100 different property owners, right? And we
Whoa.
just we just kind
Wow.
of, I mean, as a marketer, I think at the heart of who I am, I'm a marketer, so that's just market research. And
Hmm.
we just kind of started asking around and saying, hey, what matters to you, right? What do you like about your management company? What do you not like about your management company? If you don't use a management company, what would it take to get you to use one? And we kept hearing the same stories over and over and over again. And so for us, we were able to boil it down to four things. And I don't want to turn this like super sales pitchy,
No,
and
but it sounds like valuable nuggets. Please go on. Yeah, I'm curious.
so the number one thing that we heard is that it felt like the management company didn't care about the owner. And we said, that's fair. Like, let's dig into that a little bit more. Um, and again, I felt it too. It's like I bought a house and I hired a management company, and I remember asking them like, "Hey, how much? Like, give me an idea of what this home should make." Right. And I
Mhm.
swear it was one of those like the dude licked his finger and like felt the wind and was like, it should probably be about whatever, right? Like it was just a guess. And actually I remember talking to him. I said, like, okay, like, is that the commitment? Like, can I hold you
Mm.
accountable to that number? And he's like, oh, no, no, no. That's just there's too many variables, right? And
Uh,
I thought like, okay, so I'm taking all the risk because I got to pay the mortgage.
right.
And yet you're just gonna guess and you're just like, okay, well, I hope it works well. So, like, for us, the very first thing we do anytime a potential deal even walks to our like, enters our door,
Hmm.
and we work with a lot of real estate agents as well, because 'cause they're like, "Hey, we have someone who's looking at buying a house that might be a short term," so they don't even have the property yet. But we have a small team here that literally all they do is they produce these 20-page reports that we give away absolutely for free that
Hmm.
state, "This home should actually do this amount in short-term rental revenue. This is what your cleaning fees should be. This is what your channel fees should be. This is what the comparables are doing. These are the seasonalities. This is the amenities. Like here's in-depth data that, and it's not just a computer program that plugs it out. Again, like we have actual analysts, who worked at like big four CPA firms, etc., produce again these 22-page
Mm.
reports that actually show you real data. And then for our clients, we say, hey, if that number makes sense to you and you agree with it, that's the goal that you'll actually hold me accountable to. If I don't hit that number, I won't charge you my full fee,
Oh,
right?
oh, wow.
So
That's really rare, Paul, is to have a company out there that says even if I don't hit my nut, sorry. Like I will not charge you the full fee. You don't
Yeah.
really, that's rare, but that's why you guys are, again, you guys are leading this charge in the industry.
Well, thank you, man. And so, I mean, that's again, a lot of our clients love the idea that we have skin in the game with them, right? Is that, hey, look, if we miss this number, we drop our fee. If we hit the number, it's our standard fee. And if we go way over this number, we have a little bit of a kicker too. So now our goals are aligned, right? Like what I want is to go well above the goal number. And I can't sandbag your goal because I showed you actual comparables, right?
Hmm.
So I can't show you a whole bunch of comps and say, hey man, I think your house is gonna do 50,000 and every comp shows it'll do 100,000. You know what I mean? Like, we base our goals off of what other homes in the area are doing. So it's like, hey, look, our job is to figure out how to get your home to outperform all the other homes in the market, and we have an entire playbook around that. But that's number one is this idea of like accountability, right? And like and real responsibility of saying, hey, look, our goals are now aligned. You know what the data is, and you're gonna hold me accountable to it. Right.
Nice.
I mean, we also don't believe in long-term contracts. Everything's month to month with us. I
Hmm.
mean, that drove me insane when I worked with a company, and I'm like, "I don't even like you as a management company anymore, but and it's my house, but contractually, I can't get rid of you," right?
Like, how bad is that?
Right, and again, it's like, "Hey, I understand we take a lot of risk because there's a lot of setup," and, we've had some clients that wanted to leave, like, 90 days in, and I think they're just taking advantage of the fact that we got everything set up for them. But I'll roll the dice on that every time because I found that the vast majority of the time these are good people, right? And if we
Hmm.
provide good value, they'll just stick with us, and that's worth that's worth the investment, right? Um,
100%.
we also co-host every account with us, so I mean that actually slows us down. Like it took us a lot longer to get to superhost status on Airbnb because we weren't the primary host on all of them. But it's
Oh,
that same idea. Like again, if you're on the short-term rental side, when I first hired a management company, I didn't understand this, but they owned my Airbnb, like, listing. So when I fired them, they deleted my entire listing, which had all my previous reviews,
oh shit.
right? And
Oh,
again, you know it, air like, reviews
or everything.
reviews everything, right?
Like how you can't go back to all those former clients and be like, "Hey, can you write another review for me?" Like it's
Right.
that's it, game over, right?
Exactly, it's gone, and so for us, we say, "You know what? We co-host, we make you the primary, we're the secondary. So if you ever wanna fire us once, again, 1, all you gotta do is give us a 30-day notice, and 2, you just kick us off your account. So you keep all the five-star reviews we got for you, they're yours. We believe it's your house. We believe that the review should stay with you, right?
Wow. Wow. That is again another rare move in this space. I mean,
Oh,
I do not, I've followed this space for a while, Paul. I gotta be honest, and I some of the nuggets that you guys are sharing, that you're sharing, how you guys are approaching the market is so smart. It's so
oh,
smart.
thanks, man. And then I mean the last one is pretty straightforward, but I mean it's just how do we communicate with our owners, right? Like our goal internally is to be the most owner-friendly property management company. We actually have that up on the wall over there. It's
Yes.
outside the hall. But I mean that's the whole idea, right? Is anytime we work with an owner, we try to figure out like how do we make them the most important person in our universe. So again, dedicated account managers. I mean, I know that lots of people have like their online portal, but we have the online portal. We send out a monthly basically report card that says, hey, this is what's done for the last 30 days. This is what we plan on for the next 30 days. We promise payouts by the 20th. Our goal is internally to pay you out by the 15th so we can beat our promise every month. We
Hmm.
have detailed expense reports that show, exactly how much came in on rent, exactly what platforms, exactly what taxes, channel fees, cleaning fees. If we had to restock toilet paper, we scan the receipt and we attach it to I mean, we show you where every penny of your money went, right? Because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, we understand that it's not our money, we're just stewards of your money,
Mm.
right?
Wow.
So,
Wow, well
anyways,
said. Well said. Hey, listeners out there, if you weren't taking copious notes during that, that was an absolute masterclass in short-term 101. So, thank you, Paul, for going through that. I think our listeners, our subscribers are going to get a lot of value out of that, especially
yeah,
your
man,
four,
happy to
your
share.
4 points. They're all spot on, by the way. So I was sitting here taking notes while you were talking as well, FYI.
Oh,
We're
man,
gonna
thank you.
we're gonna pivot to the last part of the last segment of our time here today. And I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you a couple zingers, like we talked about pre-show. They're going to
Oh
be
boy.
fun. Just answer them however, answer them organically and naturally, if you will. There's no right or wrong answer to these questions. So just have fun with them.
I love it. And
And
I'm going to throw this out there right now as a disclaimer to anyone listening. Justin has not told me what these questions are. He just let me know right before the stream went live that he's going to try to throw a curveball at me at the end of the show. So I'm a little nervous, but let's see what happens.
it's nothing to be nervous of, I promise. But it's just stuff that I guarantee you probably haven't thought of yet. So,
I love it.
um, all right. So the first one is this. Let's say, Paul, it's your 80th birthday. Who's there? What's going on? What are you celebrating exactly? Like, paint us the picture of your 80th birthday.
I love it, man. I mean, the most cliched one is, family, right? Um, it's a weird thing. So I used to be really big in the tech scene here in Utah, and I mean, I've had some birthdays with hundreds and I mean, maybe close to 1,000 people show up, right? Um, as I've gotten a little bit older, I've realized that my need for a large
Mm,
social group has diminished significantly, right?
yeah.
I mean, my hope is that, my relationship with my business partners, who I consider family, stays close, right? My hope is that honestly, and you think it's a given, but it's not. But my hope is that my children and my grandchildren want to be there, right?
Mm.
Like, I
I'm
think,
sure they will, Paul. I don't think you're the kind of guy your
well,
your family wouldn't want to be around.
I appreciate that, man. But I mean, again, that's it, right? There's a couple close friends that I'd love to have there. Honestly, my CPA, I'd love for my CPA to be there. I have found that you find a good CPA, you find a good wealth advisor. There's a couple of those people that like
Yeah,
once you
yeah,
find the good, it's same thing with my like a mechanic, dude. When I find a good mechanic, that person becomes like that person's family to me too.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
those are people I'd love to celebrate with.
That's wonderful. That's a great answer. It's funny. I asked this question of everyone, and still, I'd say 95% of the people on here, the guests on here, answer it some sort of similar way, right? It always revolves back to family, which is what I love, right? In doing this show is, this is a family friendly show for the most part, except I do throw a couple curse, words out there from time to time, but otherwise, it's fairly friendly. Okay, here's the second one, Paul. Now, imagine it's your last day on Earth and you can only preserve three items in your time capsule. What are those items and why?
Oh man, that's a great question. Um, I think again, I'm sure it's cliched, but I think probably one is the journal,
Mm,
right? I mean, um, just have a lot of thoughts written in there. Again, I left the tech space corporate world right around the time of COVID, right? And um, COVID was just a hard time for everyone, but I had made a big investment into a different company. It didn't work out, and nearly bankrupted me.
oh,
I was almost 300 pounds at the time. I got diagnosed with diabetes. My health was in shambles. My wife and I were fighting all the time. And that was the start of this like rebirth of who I was. And that I started journaling really aggressively at the time. A lot of time in nature, studied a bunch of different world religions, met with a bunch of, gurus, most of them fake, occasionally a couple that were real. Um, but anyways, there's just a lot written in there that I want, my hope is that someone would read it and find value out of it.
wow.
Um, I don't know what else. Let's see. Probably my world record plaque. I thought that was pretty
Ah,
cool, right? You know,
do you
it
have it
just
nearby that you can show, or is it like up
I
on the wall
don't. This
somewhere?
is in the office. I have the three up at home. Those were actually again my favorite part with those is that as I started this whole like journey, I got really big into service, and I met the CEO of Make a Wish Utah, and he invited me over to come meet some of the kids once, and I met this 5-year-old kid with leukemia,
Oh,
and his wish was to be a part of a world record. Like he wanted a world record in his name.
oh,
And I
oh,
remember thinking like for that time, I felt like that was like God had spoken to me, right? Like that was my mission, was to anyways, and so, again, I kind of rallied community, and I know a bunch of the business leaders out here, and so I said, "Hey guys, like how do we make this happen?" And anyways, all the things came together, and we built a 10,000 square foot blanket fort.
Huh.
And this
Wow.
this kid was
How
able to come
fun.
out. He was able to come out and put the last blanket up, and we dedicated the world record to him. And then, for basically for 3 years in a row, every year we'd find a good cause, and then we'd break a world record, and we'd donate all the money. And anyways, I think those all have like value in that sense, right? Of I think world records are cool, but what they stood for is a lot cooler.
Yeah, and I mean, you clearly were not doing it for yourself. You were doing it, as it was you were serving, right? You were serving the need of someone else. That is such a remarkable story. Holy cow. You almost
Thanks,
have me
man.
in tears over here, man.
Oh, bro, no, thank you, dude. Again, and that You know, uh, you asked earlier, like, who am I? And, I thought I used to be someone important. I realized a long time ago, or a couple years ago, I guess, that I say it, but I'm just some guy, right? I'm here to try to feel the energy of others as much as I can, and I'm grateful for those who feel my energy, just like you are with me. And I don't know, man. Probably the last thing would be my ukulele.
Oh, wow.
Right? Just my like I tell my business partners all the time, like when this is all said and done, I'm trying to buy a piece of land in Puerto Rico, and I wanna open up a little surf shop and a ukulele shop out there, and fully expect to lose money every month. And I think that'd be a great way to spend the last however long years of my life, is just being, enjoying, soaking it all in, right?
I, it's funny.
So
I was gonna ask, I mean, with the hair and everything. By the way, my hair is about as long as yours. I just kind of
yeah, you
style
look
it
you look
differently.
more professional than me.
Ah, no, I don't know about that. What I was gonna say is at the onset of the show, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I bet you he surfs,
Yeah.
like
Anything with the board, dude. Surf,
skateboard, surfing.
skateboard. A couple years ago, my wife got me an electric longboard, and
Huh,
you
and
know,
that's
I
electric
at
longboard. Wow.
yeah, and at first I was like, that's cool, but like that's legit become that's my escape, right? I mean, if I can go surf, then obviously that's the choice. But living in Utah, there's not a lot of options to surf.
Right.
And so yeah, dude, when busy day at work, or I just need to like de-stress or get lost in thought for a little bit, pop in an AirPod, play some like tunes, and the board actually tells you how many miles it's been driven or ridden. And the other day I checked it out, and I'm coming up on 1,500 miles on that thing.
Whoa, that's serious.
So apparently I average again, I think I've had it for 3 years, so I'm almost 500 miles a year apparently on that.
Oh my goodness. You're not playing
So
around. So you like it. So that was actually a good gift from the way.
you're spot on, man. You're good at reading people.
Nice.
So
Nice.
anyways, man,
All right. Well, we got one more question for you before we wrap it up. All right.
love it.
This one's a simple one. This is a softball compared to the last two. But what is your definition of a real estate rock star?
I mean, obviously, there's some knowledge there. You got to know what you're talking about, and I think that's important because I've seen it firsthand. There's a lot of people who, the barrier of entry can be high, and they get in because of bad information. Right,
Mhm.
guys who are buying units with ADUs that are illegal, thinking that the ADU can help finance part of the house, and then all of a sudden the city comes and shuts it down, and they're in a bad financial spot. So one, I think you got to have knowledge. I think
Mm,
more importantly than that, though, you just got to care, right? Like I think the world of real estate, as crowded as it is, like this is the place where scarcity shouldn't exist. There's so much opportunity, right? Like
mhm,
there's always another deal to be had. Uh, like the more you care about not even your clients, but like even your competition, the other people in the world around you that just live here.
mhm.
Again, like the more abundance mindset I think people have, the more that we all win. And I'm a big believer that a rising tide will lift all ships.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes. Great minds think alike. I feel the same way, right? Again, maybe it's from coming from the partner space, or maybe I was just wired this way from birth. but I definitely agree with that sentiment 110%. So,
Love it, man. So cool.
so Paul, it's been wonderful having you on today. Thank you so much. We'll have to have you on again in the future, just as a check-in, and you can let our listeners and everything give an update and let everyone know how you're doing and what new unique project I'm sure you'll be up to by then. Where can our listeners and subscribers, find and connect with you?
Yeah, I think probably LinkedIn's my most really only social media that I use.
Okay.
Again, just Paul Shin. I think on like linkedin.com/, I think it's the Paul Shin. But if you see a long-haired Asian dude after you search Paul Shin, it's probably me. Currently, I have a little taco next to my name because I think tacos are great and potentially peak food, but I don't know if we'll still have it by the time someone else looks it up. And then, my website, or sorry, the company website is just TruStay PM, as in propertymanagement.com.
hmm
And again, I'm always happy to chat with other people. We're always looking for good people to come hang out with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paul. So wonderful. Y'all, I hope you took some copious notes today. He absolutely dropped some knowledge. He dropped some knowledge today, folks. So there you have it. We have another episode of the Real Estate Rock Stars in the books. We'll see you again next Wednesday, everyone. Bye-bye.